Back here on Sixers Postgame Live and look at the center matchup in this one. And yes, Kel'el Ware is not a traditional center. Andre Drummond is much more so. But look at the rebounding. Both of them really crashing the boards. Of those 16 for Kel'el Ware, as we mentioned earlier, 8 of them were offensive. 8 of Drummond's were offensive. So they certainly were. When you play this kind of pace, that's what you have to do, really, because you have to get the O board to really push it. But Kel'el Ware, what an absolute turnaround for him. I mean, he was always a nice player, but 26 minutes, 20 points, 16 boards, 2 for 2 from plus 26, Mark Jackson. I know plus minus doesn't always tell the complete story. But when you're plus 26 in a game that your team won by 10, that says a lot.
It does says a lot, Amy. It says this guy's for real. You know, it's not like just a freak game. He's been playing lights out since he stepped up and getting more playing time. This kid, Ware, like in the first quarter, he had 8 rebounds in the first 4 minutes. I mean, like the way he was just dominating the ball, and 6 of them was offensive. And the way he was just dominating, finding the spot. And rebounding rebounding is a lot of people say it's just about heart and effort. No, it's about positioning too. Being aware of ball rim touch and where the ball comes off is very important. And then right here, stepping out, hit the 3. I was like, who is that? Hakeem Olajuwon? Like, this kid is really good.
He's very good. This is his second year in the league. Drafted, played most of his college career at Oregon, did finish up at Indiana. So certainly used to playing high level. But this is not who he was last year or certainly in college. He has transformed his game, just like a lot of people with the Heat this year and the way that they're playing. And this seems to fit him quite nicely.
Absolutely. He's in a prime position role for this team. They also have gotten him better.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. They really have spent the time developing him overall as a basketball player, which is more so helping the team in the long run. But with that being said, like, the way that they use him fits right in, and his ability to shoot the 3 now, he couldn't do that before.
So it was a tough defensive assignment for Andre Drummond because of the style the Heat play and the way that Andre Drummond plays. Drummond coming off not a great game, let's face it, against the Bucks. He fouled out just 18 minutes in. Of course, the Sixers won that game, but 38 minutes, he shot almost 55% with 6 of 11, 14 points. As I mentioned, all those rebounds. He had 23 total, 8 of them offensive. A couple of blocks to go with that, and he did make a 3. What'd you make of Andre Drummond's night?
I thought Drummond was Drummond. He was Drummond. Like, he crashed that glass.
Good game.
Playing against, he was good on defense, too, a little bit. But the best thing is getting second and third opportunity. Even the opportunities where he didn't come down with the ball, he created taps to help his teammates get him as well.
It's interesting, and one thing we showed you at halftime is the way that the Heat play, they do not spend any time in the paint, and that's where Andre Drummond is obviously going to operate defensively as well. How much did that kind of stymie him defensively, the fact that he couldn't roam around that paint?
It has something to do with it, but I think also the pace, Amy. I think the pace is so fast. It takes a lot of communication when you're in transition on defense, because Miami, as proof example, is people say they want to run, but they don't really commit to it. They don't have a scheme for it. Miami's scheme, they never walk or jog the ball up the court. Every time they push the ball, they're sprinting the ball up the court. So what that means, if you're the 5-man, you just rebound or try to rebound the ball, you're running with your back turned, and you need communication. So you could kind of get exposed if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah, talk about that, because you did have to communicate, because as soon as you looked around, there's a guy running right by it, and that's how the Heat operate. The Sixers ran with them for the most part, ran out of gas just a little bit. We'll talk to you a little bit more about this Heat team. Also, I want to check in on Jared McCain's night. Back here on Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Tyrese Maxey. I mean, if this is an off night, sign me up any day of the week. Shot 43.5%, 27 points. You can see they're pretty good 3-point numbers, 5 of 14. So that's always a good sign. He is the picture of efficiency, and we've seen it. The guy's shooting 47% from the field overall, and you can see pretty good numbers despite being an off game for him. 6 assists to go with a couple of turnovers as well. But Tyrese Maxey is a guy that leads the league in minutes played, though he was just at 36.5. Just 36.5 in this one. You heard Nick Nurse asked about the shoulder, because he did sit for a little bit longer than we're used to seeing Tyrese Maxey. The guy plays over 40 minutes a game. Hopefully it doesn't bother him. It's something they're going to monitor. But when you look at Tyrese Maxey's night, I mean, he tried to get them back in it. 23 shots is a pretty good volume for him. What did you make of it?
I thought he's going to do what he does. Yeah. He's going to be aggressive, and not just be aggressive on the offense, but he's being aggressive on the defense. He's picking up guys full court. He's trying to keep the pace going. He's trying to be efficient and being aggressive simultaneously. And, when you have to pick up the load, because you and Grimes are Drummond, but the only ones consistently been in the lineup, you have to carry the team. And, you have to go out trying to carry him. Worst case scenario, you just get tired. But so his shoulder's probably hurting because he's been carrying him on the back. But with that being said, I hope everything is fine. I hope it's nothing serious. Man, I just want to see him out there. What?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We joke about it, but he has been carrying this team. And when you know you're missing your backcourt running mate for the whole, which has been the whole season so far, with BJ Edgecombe, and then no Kelly Oubre, and then Paul George on that minutes restriction, it does put a lot of pressure on you. Quinton Grimes has been able to step up, but still, you're the leading scorer on your team, and you want to make sure that you stay in it. And this pace was no joke, really.
You know what's funny about Maxey? Maxey is so run and gun and fast tempo basketball. But when you play against a team that really likes to play, like he was looking forward to this game. Like, I really get to play in my element. So with that being said, they fall short. Maxey without little bumps and bruises, but look, he'll be back tomorrow. That's why we're so fortunate we wake up tomorrow. We get an opportunity to improve ourselves. So I'm quite sure he'll recover, and hopefully next game he'll be fine.
Yes, he will. So it's one of those things. They do play again on Tuesday, and then they had the Black Friday game. So there's a little bit of a break for him to get healthy. If there's one person they cannot avoid, they do not want to risk losing, and that would be Tyrese Maxey. So hopefully everything's okay with him. Of course, we'll keep you updated. Make sure you check out NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com for any updates on that. Another guy we were talking about was Norman Powell. I mean, what can you say about Norman Powell? Guy comes in averaging 25. He finished with 32 on 61% shooting from the field. 4 for 7. That's 57% from 3. Not a particularly good free throw shooter, but I guess it doesn't really matter when you're scoring everything else at that clip. 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 assist for Norman Powell, who is their backcourt, and has been carrying the load for them with Tyler Hero out.
He's always been a second fiddle to somebody, Amy. Every team he's been on, they always had superstar caliber players. Now with Tyler Hero being out, he's given the reins to kind of lead this team, and he's doing such a wonderful job, and he's so efficient, Amy.
Yes.
He's not just staying out there jacking up threes. He's getting downhill. He's getting a lane, little flows, little bumps and finishes. He's a handful. And the best thing is he's another guy that defends on the other end. That's his main priority, and he does it well.
When you think about how this Heat team might look, because they are one of the better teams in the East right now, there's no surprise on that as they won their 4th in a row. Tyler Hero is going to come back probably sooner rather than later. How does this Heat team change at all?
It's the same kind of pace, Amy. Tonight they shot 35%, 34% from 3, right? He's going to help that. He's one of the premier sharpshooters in the league, and they give him another person who can play with the ball to get to the rim and finish or create a collapse defense to kick out to others. So he's another weapon for them. They're at 4th in the league right now. This is a team you got to hit early because when Tyler Hero comes back at the pace they're playing, they're not going to slow down. They're just going to increase in tempo.
Something to watch going forward as the Sixers will obviously see the Heat again. It is the road ahead. They have another home game on Tuesday. That one is on NBC. Mark and I will not see you for that one, but we'll see you on Friday. Let's check in now with Quinton Grimes.
You guys, give continuity from a night-to-night basis. I feel like just knowing that we're going to have guys in and out the rotation and out the lineup, I feel like we've done a great job so far this season with the next man up mentality. Everybody comes in and somebody starting, coming out that second unit, giving a lot of energy. And I feel like tonight was just a little one-off game, but for the most part, everybody's had a good mindset coming in with that mindset coming into the game.
You obviously didn't get a chance to play with Jared at all last year, just kind of in these early games since he's come back. What are you learning about how you guys can play off each other and sort of when you're in the lineup together, what you guys can do as far as just playing off each other?
Yeah, just another playmaker, you know what I mean? We both guys out there can play on the ball. We both can play off the ball. 2 shooters, so that gives us a lot of space out there on the court to drive and attack and make plays for ourselves or teammates for us. So we're sure just having that guy out there where team got to respect him on the offensive end makes it easier for all of us to go out there and just drive and make plays.
What was the biggest challenge in this one? Seeing like they jumped out to a big lead, and then you guys rallied, and then they jumped out to a big lead. Like again, I guess what was the biggest challenge? Maybe not trying to get everyone pumped there.
Just their pace. You know what I mean? They're like number 1 in the league right now with pace. They kind of got a whole new offensive scheme. Norm gives them a whole new dynamic just of scoring, just being a scoring threat at all 3 levels. So just that pace kind of hurt us a little bit, knowing we're down a couple guys. So that pace throughout the whole game, keeping it for 48 minutes, definitely kind of wore us all the way down to the 4th quarter.
And then, Kel'el had a really big game for them. I guess that goes into them trying to box out a guy like him.
Yeah, it kind of was a change the game. A lot of offensive boards, kind of like 2-3 in a row, and then got a and one. So stuff like that kind of hurts me. Kind of fighting, and then they give up an and one. But they're playing good basketball over there right now. So tip the hat off to them for sure.
You're talking about how they're fighting, and they entered the fourth quarter. The way they started the third quarter was pretty terrible, and they finished the third quarter, which is notoriously their worst quarter, down only 2 in that third quarter. That is actually a monumental achievement. But when you saw it, they cut it to 2 with 8.5 minutes to go, and you're Quinton Grimes. It's just too hard when you've got that kind of pace. You don't have your full complement of players. You just can't keep up.
Absolutely, Amy. That's why it's more than 5 guys on the team, because you need that nucleus of guys coming off the bench. No matter how great you think your starters are or who's in the lineup, you need more weapons in your arsenal because the game is played in a marathon pace. I know it's an up-and-tempo game, but it's over longevity, and that's important. The game go in runs. You don't have as many runs in. You don't have as many fresh legs to put in the game. And that's having 7-6 tonight.
Well, the next team up is the Orlando Magic, who have won 3 in a row. They've turned their season around because they were one of the favorites. They were a team, certainly Mark and I were quite high on to be one of the stars in the Eastern Conference. They were a little slow out of the gates, but they've certainly been playing very well coming up. Winners of 3 in a row, 7 of their last 10. That's a team that is certainly on the rise once again.
They found their way. They was a little stumbled out of the gates, struggled a little bit early, but I think they were trying to figure out their scenario. But they found a way. Carroll, he's been incredible, exceptional. He's a force to be reckoned with. And then that team just plays. They feed off him. They really feed off him and his spirit and the way he gets them going. But that's going to be a tough battle.
Yeah, it will be. Banchero, Wagner, they've got a full complement down there.
Absolutely.
Hopefully the Sixers will as well. Hopefully VJ Edgecombe, who just was on the injury report yesterday with that calf tightness, was ruled out right before the game today. So hopefully that's nothing that is going to linger in that one. And then Kelly Oubre, no update. He was going to be reevaluated in a couple weeks. That news came out just a couple of days ago. And there was a bit of an update on Joel Embiid. He's still listed as day-to-day. They're hopeful that right knee, which is the opposite knee that he had the surgery on, and something that can happen when you think about how you're trying to rehab the one knee. The other knee can kind of take a little bit of brunt of the wear and tear, so hopefully it's good news for Joel sooner rather than later as well.
This 76 team could use all the good news. Listen, I know Joel's been struggling of late with his knee, but, Kelly, that's a real shot in the chest right there.
He was having a career year.
Yes, he is. We need Kelly back ASAP. Kelly, you need my hamstring. What you need, buddy? I donate your mind. Look, I'm a fan of his. The Philadelphia people fan of his. I know we have a few guys out, but Kelly does something special this team needs.
Yes, he does. So they can get a few more wing reinforcements hopefully soon, and that guard back in VJ Edgecombe. All right, we do want to tell you, Eagles pregame live is on as soon as we are done, and postgame live is coming up, of course, after the Eagles beat the Cowboys in Dallas, because it is Cowboys week. So go Birds, everyone. Enjoy that game. Eagles postgame live is coming up after the game on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Old friends right there from Toronto and Norman Powell and Kyle Lowry. Thanks for joining us here on Sixers Postgame Live.